Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Minnesota.
With a win today, the Minnesota Twins can send the Chicago Cubs back on the road with a sweep at their hands. The Twins have pulled to within 10 games of the 500 mark. Let's take a look at some series headlines here. The Twins have won 4 straight series, 9-2 in their last 11 games. That includes a 5-game winning streak here at Target Field after a start of 6-17. Twins have 19 runs and 32 hits in the first 2 games of the series. In their last 2 games prior, they totaled 4 runs in their last 2 in Kansas City. And look at the top 2 guys in the lineup. Denard Span and Ben Revere, 7 for 14 with 4 runs scored. That's the production you want from your top 2 hitters. And when we come back, it's Francisco Liriano, who's been outstanding in his last 2 starts since returning from the Twins bullpen. And when we come back, Dick and Bert have more on Francisco Liriano on Fox Sports North.
On Fox Sports North is brought to you by your local Northland Ford dealers. Visit your local Northland Ford dealer or go to northlandford.com. And by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards.
Back at Target Field, where the Twins fans hope their team can make it 6 in a row at Target Field. And we're back on a beautiful Sunday afternoon for baseball. Dick and Bert with you for the final game of this series with the Chicago Cubs. It's been a really good couple of weeks for the Minnesota Twins. Probably not a coincidence that the starting pitching has been much improved.
It really has, and one guy that has really stepped it up is Francisco Liriano. Since being put into the bullpen for about 4 outings, Liriano a couple starts ago got that opportunity in the rotation, and he's taking advantage of it. Very good earned run average, only 1 earned run in 12 innings, 17 strikeouts, and I think the key, only 3 walks.
And the lineup is one of the more productive in the American League. The lineup is healthy, and it's deeper than it's been for quite some time. Trevor Plouffe, typically hitting 7th, has been one of Minnesota's hottest hitters, 26 hits. But the thing that stands out, the number of extra base hits. 15 of his 26 hits have been doubles or home runs. And so the Twins have a deeper lineup, a longer lineup, and it's the result of a lot of hard work between Trevor Plouffe and the Twins hitting coach Joe Vavra.
The way you're set up right now, it doesn't look like I can beat you anywhere. I mean, it looks like you got all points covered, the whole box. If it's starting to feel more comfortable, good. Nice.
Well, there's that comfort zone that every hitter wants to get into, and you'd like to take a look at some of these swings we're going to show you on Trevor Plouffe, especially look at the hip area where he's really opening up. That ball hit up the middle, but watch this pitch right here. Look how the hips fly open. As a pitcher, your strength is in your legs. As a hitter, the same thing. Relax, open up quickly, and boy, Trevor Plouffe is making great contact.
The Twins closed out their last homestand with a 3-game sweep over the Oakland A's. They'd like to start this week-and-a-half-long homestand with a 3-game sweep over the Chicago Cubs. We'll have the first pitch of Game 3 in a moment. The Cubs have been baseball's definition of futility, with the annual slogan of "Wait till next year." During the period of team struggles, there have been many individual stars. Mr. Cub Ernie Banks was a 2-time MVP in the 50s, hit over 500 home runs, and is enshrined in Cooperstown. Fellow Hall of Famer Billy Williams was a batting champ and piled up over 2,700 career hits.
In the mid-'80s, Chicago had a pair of MVPs in a span of 4 years. Ryne Sandberg in '84 and Andre Dawson in 1987. The contemporary Cubs are again in the cellar, but featuring a rising star. Like Banks and Sandberg, he's a middle infielder. A year ago, Starlin Castro became the youngest player to lead the National League in hits, and this smooth-swinging shortstop has the tools that win batting titles. Interleague play continues with TC and the Cubs on hand. Partly cloudy skies are talking about a chance of rain later today, but we'll hope to have uninterrupted baseball for you again here from Target Field. It's been 5 wins in a row for the Twins at home, and that's been, to me, the best part of the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, the Twins are now 11-17 at home. You take a look at Dale Swain in his first season as manager of the Chicago Cubs.
And the Menards batting order for the Cubs. Reed Johnson in the leadoff spot. Starlin Castro second, David DeJesus third. Alfonso Soriano's had a great series. He'll hit cleanup. Then Jeff Baker, Joe Mather, Darwin Barney, Ian Stewart, and Coy Hill.
And Francisco Liriano on the mound. We showed you in the open what he's been able to accomplish his last 2 starts, and making his first career start and appearance against the Chicago Cub organization. In interleague play, he's had a lot of success. 15 starts, 16 appearances, a 9-4 record with a very good 3.19 earned run average. So Liriano looking for his 3rd outstanding quality start.
Reed Johnson to lead things off. Temperatures in the 90s, humidity, dew point, whatever you want to call it, making it feel close to 100 degrees today. And Johnson takes strike 1.
And that's a key right there for Liriano. We'll keep a track on that throughout the ball game, getting first pitch strikes. And that's what Gardy, Rick Anderson, the pitching coach, Ron Gardenhire, the manager, so happy about Liriano, the way that he's attacking the strike zone.
1-1.
Reed Johnson having a good series, a couple hits here on Friday night, then a couple hits in yesterday's ball game.
Up and away, 2-1. Amid all the talk, or the questioning, I guess, why do the Twins play so well in June? Why do they do so well in interleague play? The guy on the mound has had a lot to do with both the poor starts the last couple of years and the surge in June. Swing and a miss. This is the 2nd year in a row where Francisco Liriano has been really awful in the first couple months, and then the Twins will hope that he will follow suit from what he did last year and get it together in June for some reason.
Well, you know what? Last year, going before spring training of 2011, he didn't play winter ball, and he played winter ball this year, and that's why he was hoping that April or May would be a little bit better.
Pop up short center. Span coming in, and it's a bloop single for Reed Johnson. Good pitch and a 2-2 pitch, but it drops in for a single. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Some speed in center and right. Josh Willingham getting left field. Plouffe, Dozier, Carroll, Morneau, the infielders. The last couple of starts have been good ones for Francisco Liriano with Drew Butera behind the plate.
Butera, a guy that gets really low, and of course, like his father Sal, known to be a better defensive catcher than, say, an offensive type player. So Mauer getting the afternoon as a designated hitter.
Butera's insertion into the lineup takes essentially Ryan Doumit out of the lineup. The Twins going with Morneau and Mauer and the rest of the regulars, but Doumit will start this game on the bench.
Well, sometimes you stay with a good thing too. It was Butera, like we mentioned, the last 2 outings, and you know, there are certain pitchers that maybe feel a little more comfortable with certain catchers. I mean, the most famous one was Steve Carlton. Tim McCarver, you know, his career went on and on because he was Steve Carlton's personal catcher, more or less.
As fragile as it seems Liriano is, the last thing you'd want to do once he's on track is change too much around him.
Good point. Very good point.
2 strikes to Castro. Half swing, did he go? They'll appeal. Strike 3, He's gone.
So Butera finally got the appeal from Scott Berry to Jerry Meals, and they rung him up.
Well, there's my point again. You work ahead in the count, the strikeouts will come, and a good pitch right there, just clipping the corner. And Castro, yeah, he went too far. So Liriano picks up his first strikeout. His last 2 starts, 12 innings pitched, 17 strikeouts, because he's getting strike 1, strike 2, and then he's able to put them away with either a good fastball, hard slider, or a great changeup.
Here's David DeJesus.
And you're probably at home saying, is it that simple? Sometimes it is. If you get ahead in the count, it puts that hitter on the defense.
Well, I don't know whether the people back home are asking that, but I keep asking that of you when you say that. Is it that simple? I mean, what we've seen in this transformation the last couple starts, it's easier said than done, I know, but getting ahead is so critical for any pitcher.
It's a confident factor, and that's what Liriano, has had the last couple games. The confidence of trusting his stuff.
And the home run challenge is out there again today. Every home run in this game raises $12,000 for prostate cancer research. After 3 days of the challenge, 45 home runs have been hit, and $540,000 has been raised. You can make a pledge by calling 800-798-CURE 2873 or go to www.pcf.org.
Good slider right there. Yeah, 2 home runs hit in yesterday's ball game. Soriano for the Cubs and Trevor Plouffe for the Twins. Yeah, sometimes it is that simple. If you can get 1-2, 2-2, and now all of a sudden here comes your strikeout pitch, that hitter is just looking to make contact somewhere. They don't have that same swing if it's a 2-1, 3-1 pitch.
I think what we've seen, to put it another way, Liriano's always...
I don't want to put it another way.
Well, let me try this.
Okay, go ahead.
It's been said of Liriano, he has 3+ pitches, the fastball, the slider, and the change. But pitches 2 and 3 are almost worthless unless you can control the first pitch.
Yeah,
right?
Ron Gardenhire saying in the pregame today, it's the fastball. Everything keys off the fastball. If you get ahead, good things happen, and so far so good for Liriano, his second strikeout.
DeJesus continues his struggles against left-handed pitching.
Well, this is the slider right here, and look at the ball. Looks like a fastball, and then the bottom just drops out of it.
So 2 down. Johnson still at first. Remembering Johnson got on base on a 2-2 pitch, and Liriano jammed him, blooped it into center field. And here's Alfonso Soriano. He's had a great series. And Soriano, maybe because of the wind, asking time. It is very blustery here. The wind blowing in from right field, and indirectly, I guess, out towards left.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about yesterday, Dick, how it swirls sometimes in certain spots.
Line to left, and Willingham back. Drops the ball. It'll roll to the wall. Johnson to third, and he's being waved in. Willingham went back, had it in the glove, and it bounced out. The Cubs get the first lead.
Well, Soriano hits the ball so hard, and Willingham, maybe that's one of those balls that he thought for sure was going to have a little topspin on it, but the ball just kept taking off. A high fastball. You can see the uppercut swing, and that ball hits off the tip of the glove of Willingham. Soriano will get a double, driving in a run, his 40th RBI of the year.
So Jeff Baker will hit with Soriano at second. And a strike on the outside corner. I forget who coined the term, but Soriano looks real hitterish right now. He's hit balls hard that have been down and in, up and away, down the middle. Now to center field. It will carry out to Span, who ends the inning. A single, a double, the first run of the game goes to the Cubs.
Morneau, and more smiles in the dugout than we've seen in a long time. This team's playing really good baseball right now, and we'll see if they can come back from this early 1-0 deficit. The Menard batting order for the Twins has Denard Span on the leadoff spot. More speed hitting second in Ben Revere, Joe Mauer, Josh Willingham, Justin Morneau. Then Trevor Plouffe, Brian Dozier, Drew Butera, and Jamie Carroll.
And on the mound for the Cubs, it'll be right-handed pitcher Ryan Debster. Finally won a ball game in his last start. Beat the Brewers 10-0. He went 18 starts without a win from August 16th of last year to May 30th, where he had pitched really well. He was 0-9 in those 18 starts with an ERA under 4. 13 quality starts, and 9 of the starts he had given up 2 runs or fewer. Not a lot of run support. Well, he's got 1 early so far in his corner.
Span takes a strike. Yeah, the 1 run must seem like 7 for him right now.
Yeah, Dempster faced the Twins as a starter, but you have to go back to 2002, so not much history between Ryan Dempster and the Twins offense.
Chopper to second, Barney over to Baker, 1 quick out. Northland Ford defense for the Chicago Cubs. Reed Johnson in left, Joe Mather in center, David DeJesus in right. Ian Stewart, Starlin Castro on the left side of the infield, Barney Baker on the right side, and Coy Hill behind the plate.
Well, you can see since August 16th in 19 starts he finally won. He won that ball game 10-0. Actually, he took a perfect game into the 6th inning, and it was broken up, but he ended up pitching 7 shutout innings in his last start.
Outside, ball 1. And Ben Revere will hit. Revere up to 330 right now. Just over 100 plate appearances, so he's not close enough to, or doesn't have enough plate appearances to qualify for the top 10 in batting, but the average streaking northward. 1-1. And on the outside corner, 1-2.
Yeah, one thing Ron Coomer was talking about Ben Revere in the pregame was that there's not any fly balls right now off of the bat of Ben Revere. It's on the ground, it's some bunt base hits, it's line drive type hits. He's a guy that has to keep the ball on the ground and hopefully hit it hard somewhere.
Ooh, Hill thought it was strike 3. Yeah. Came out of the crouch, was ready to fire the ball to Stewart.
Yeah, Scott Berry, the home plate umpire, already hearing it from the dugout over. Pretty good pitch right there. Like a little cutter.
2-2 to Revere. And another solid single to center field.
That's what he's been doing right there. Let's take a look at the GMC keys to this ball game. And I think we saw Span made an out, but the top 2 guys, they need to get on to make things happen. Production from the top of the order. And also, if you can, get to the bullpen for the Chicago Cubs, because they have really struggled. They come in with a 4.41 combined ERA, 15th out of the 16 teams in the National League.
Here's Mauer. There goes Revere. That didn't take long. And one thing that Revere does, not only does he steal bases, but he gets it done early in the count. He's very aggressive out there, and it changes the at-bat for Mauer because Revere is at second, not at first.
Yeah, his 9th stolen base of the year in 10 attempts. So Ben Revere gets in the scoring position. Last year in 117 games for the Twins, 34 stolen bases. Guy likes to run.
1-0 to Mauer, who likes to hit. And he is right now 8th in the American League in hitting at 308. Konerko leading the American League at 363. Then you drop down to Hamilton at 338. And if you imagine a world where the batting champion will be somewhere in the 330 range, I think we fully expect Mauer to be in the middle of the batting race by season's end. Fouled back, 1-2. Some interesting names in the top 10 in hitting. Mark Trumbo, Prince Fielder, who got off to a bit of a slow start. Now he's climbed into the top 10. Alejandro De Aza and Alex Rios all in the top 10.
That's a big surprise right there. Rios has really struggled as a Chicago White Sox, but this year he's picking it up a little bit. Probably feeling a little more comfortable there.
1-2. Foul tip. Lauer strikes out. That's out number 2.
Rod Coomer, you're down on that camera. Well, you know, Ben Revere got a base hit. First pitch, boom, he's in the scoring position. Nice to see.
Well, it is, and I know Jerry White and Ron Gardner have really wanted all of our base stealers to get going and steal some bases, and they're giving them the green light. To me, the big key is a guy who hit in the middle of the lineup. If I knew a guy was gonna run, I loved it, and I would take pitches early in the count to give him a chance to steal second base. But it's really important for him to do it on the first couple of pitches, because then you get a chance to swing the bat with a runner in scoring position.
Willingham hit by the first pitch. There'll be 2 aboard for Justin Morneau.
Yeah, trying to run that fastball in. Dempster hitting his first batter of the year. This being his 11th start. You see the fastball getting the left arm of Josh Willingham.
Tricep area. So Morneau with a chance to at least tie the game. He's got 2 men aboard. Seen Justin in this series drive the ball hard a couple of times to the opposite field. This would seem to be a favorable day to do that with the wind. On the outside corner. I haven't figured out the strike zone yet, but it's just the first inning.
Yeah, you know what, Ryan Dempster, he's been tough. Opponents hitting only .211 off of him this year coming into this ballgame. He's allowed 6 home runs. Left-handers hitting .214, right-handers hitting .211. He's only given up 2 home runs to left-handed hitters.
Up the middle, but right to the shortstop Castro. He goes to the bag, and that ends the inning. Infield shift pays off for the Cubs, and they lead it 1-0. Liriano, as we said, in the month of June, maybe it's a coincidence, maybe not, but he's pitched pretty well against National League teams.
Especially if you attack the strike zone like he did in the first inning. You know, you just go about your business. You can see more strikeouts than innings pitched. And Liriano has been awesome so far. He's faced 6 batters, been able to get strike 1 on all 6 batters. And in that first inning, 14 pitches, 12 strikes.
Throws a change-up, and it's quickly 0-2.
I mean, how many times have we did a Liriano game where, you know, it's 14 pitches, 7 strikes? I mean, he's throwing strikes. He's trusting his stuff right now.
Tapper to third. Bluth gets the first hop, sets, and fires one away. Well, the Twins catching the Cubs, I guess, at the right time. They haven't won a road series yet this year, with the Twins winning yesterday.
It's a lot of clubs catching the Cubs at the right time this year.
Cubs are 0-11-3 in road series so far this year. And, you And look at the Twins. They won both road series on their last road trip. Won the last couple of road series or 2 of the 3 in the last road trip before the most recent one. So,
yeah, Cubs are just 7-25 on the road this year.
1-0 to Barney, and a bouncer off his foot. And so the clock is ticking, if you will, on the Cubs and some of the players anyway. The thought is that the Cubs are out of the race. They're 13.5 games back, and they have to almost win out a month, have an undefeated month to get back to the 500 mark. They are 21 games below 500, and you wonder who will stay and who will go. The guy on the mound today for the Cubs, Dempster's in the last year of his contract. Soriano might be showcased as an American League designated hitter. He's got a knee problem, makes it difficult for him to play left field.
There's the division right now to Cincinnati Reds and the Pirates, only 1 game out. Twins will be playing both those ball clubs on the upcoming road trip.
Probably not a good time to be playing the Pirates. They're playing very good baseball. They're starting to score some runs. The Royals have to play the Pirates this weekend, and the Pirates have an early lead, 3-0.
Yeah, the Pirates last year they were in first place around July, and then the sink shop, the ship sunk.
Drive to right center field. Revere with the catch, 2 down. July, don't miss the biggest event of the summer. Baseball's greatest stars battle for home field advantage in the Fall Classic. The road to the World Series begins with the 2012 MLB All-Star Game Tuesday, July 10th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Central, 5:30 Mountain Time, 4:30 Pacific on Fox. We're up on satellite. People are watching us all over the country. We can't forget about the people in the Mountain Time Zone.
No.
Strike 1 call to Ian Stewart. Stewart moving up to 8th in the batting order. He had hit 9th in the first 2 games. Just off the inside corner, 1-1.
Ian Stewart, 27 years old, traded over to the Cubs from the Colorado Rockies over the winter.
2-1.
Slider just missing. Liriano in his 7th season with the Twins. Came up in 2005. Of course, missed all of 2007 with the Tommy John surgery.
Swing and a miss. And more than any other pitcher the Twins have, we say that a lot with Liriano on the mound. Swing and a miss. He is the closest the Twins have to a strikeout pitcher. Nubb back to the mound, and Liriano can take his time and have a quick 1-2-3 second inning. Cubs have a 1-0 lead.
the second, and it sure looks like he's going to be the next Twin in double digits and home runs.
Boy, is he having quite a series, and he's been swinging a hot bat. Nice to have that in the lower part of the lineup for the Twins. Not, as far as the average, but just the long ball.
Down and away, ball one. Plouffe, Dozier, and Butera in the Twins' second inning. One and one. Two and one.
Well, one thing you can get out of Dempster, you get innings pitched. The last 4 years for the Cubs, he has worked 200 or more innings. And he first came up with the Florida Marlins when he came up as a starter. In his first full year in 2000, he worked a career high 226 innings. So 7 times in his career, he has worked 200 or more innings. And you see his career numbers. 3 shutouts in the 11 complete games.
It's the durability, the fact that he takes his turn all the time. He's a veteran guy that you'd think would make him in demand for a contending team. He struck out Mauer in the first, and now he strikes out Plouffe. 1 down. Let's find Robbie and Smikowski.
Yeah, another thing about Ryan Dempster is he and Justin Morneau have something in common in that both guys are from British Columbia, Canada, and they have a relationship that started a ways back. In fact, it's been about 14 years after Dempster's rookie year in the big leagues is when he and Justin Morneau met. Morneau was still in high school, and both have been big supporters of Baseball Canada's awards banquet that happens in the offseason in Toronto. And the thing that impressed Morneau most about Ryan Dempster, I don't know if you know how much you know about Dempster's story, but when he was a kid, when he was playing ball coming up through the ranks, he had to take a 40-minute ferry ride because he's from an island on British Columbia just to get to and from practice each way, and it certainly has resulted in a nice career for him in 15 years, and it's worth the sacrifice.
Thank you, Robbie. Fouled away. 2 strikes now to Dozier.
Yeah, Dempster, a 2-time National League All-Star, once with the Marlins back in 2000 and then with the Cubs in 2008. He's in his 9th season with the Cubs, first coming up to the big leagues with the Marlins in 1998.
Little nubber and a slow roller to Barney. Dozier retired. 2 down.
Yeah, one time he was a closer for the Cubs for 3 seasons, had 87 saves for the Cubs, and about 4 years ago they put him back in that rotation.
Here's Drew Butera. It's got to be frustrating. Dempster, a veteran pitcher, and the team around him hasn't been very good. Cubs suffered through a 12-game losing streak earlier this year, and in that 12-game losing streak, Dempster was 0-3 with an ERA of 2.14. With any run support at all, he would have been considered the stopper of a shorter losing streak.
8th lowest in the major leagues. You'd like to go out there and get the run support from time to time, but again, those 18 starts, 0-9 with an ERA under 4. So it wasn't just like, having bad starts for 18 starts. He pitched well, but had nothing really to show for it than the 9 losses. So he got plenty of run support in his last start. He beat the Brewers 10-0. You'd like to take those 10 runs like Diamond yesterday and spread those out a little bit, but it doesn't happen in the game.
Pop fly, short right field, and Barney makes the catch. And Dempster has a 1-2-3 second inning.
Young lady, put your head in that hole. There you go. You are hereby circled. And fans, go to foxsportsnorth.com and click on the Circle Me Bird to submit an email on why your sign should be circled on an upcoming home game and have a chance to come up to the booth and visit us. We'll reveal 2 sections in the morning before each game. One will be listed on foxsportsnorth.com and the other on KFAN.com. KFAN.
Here's Coy Hill taking strike 1 from Francisco Liriano. Hill, Johnson, and Castro. Cubs pushing across a run in the first inning on a bloop single and a double off the glove of left fielder Josh Willingham. One and two. Twins able to get by with a 4-man rotation. Liriano among the 4. An off day tomorrow, and then the Twins are going to go through the rotation, all 5 pitchers, but they'll have to add a starter. And, Hill strikes out 1 away, and suggestions today by manager Ron Gardenhire that Liam Hendricks might be the guy called up to pitch on Saturday.
Yeah, he pitched another great ball game yesterday. He's 5-0 with an ERA under 2 down in Rochester. Liriano picking up his 3rd straight strikeout. And Hill, kind of a newcomer to the Cub organization, getting traded over from the Cincinnati Reds in the middle of May.
Reed Johnson singled and scored in the first inning. One or no. Foul back to the screen.
Johnson, a veteran of 10 major league seasons, came up with the Blue Jays. Then from there went to the Cubs, and then he left the Cubs, went to the Dodgers for 1 year, and then the Cubs re-signed him.
Up and away. 2-1.
35 pitches, 26 strikes for Liriano. I did a little quick math. Liriano, in his first 6 starts, he was averaging about 55% strikes to balls in those first 6 starts. And since his return, coming back, the last 2 starts plus here today, he's right about 60% as far as throwing strikes to balls. It doesn't seem that much, but it is. Just that 5% difference of rather throwing strikes than balls, just a lot of them coming early in the count, and so he's getting ahead in the count.
Called strike. And I believe the count now is 3-2.
And that was my California math, by the way, so I probably was off a percentage.
Well, I see you threw at me when you said the quick math. Yeah. I didn't know you were capable of that.
What do you think I've been doing for the last 4 innings? Oh, it's only the 3rd. A walk by Liriano, his first.
And Castro will hit. You can vote for the Arby's Value Player of the Game. Text the word value followed by a space in the player's name to short code 234-234. Liriano getting 36% of the early balloting. Castro was the Cubs' primary leadoff hitter last year. Hit for a while in the 3rd spot. And now settling into the number 2 spot. To center. Span backpedaling. And on the track, he makes the catch.
Well, Castro gave it a ride right there. 403, right where Span's standing out in straightaway center field. Then it goes a little bit deeper toward that bullpen gate at 411. So Castro got that high fastball and hit it to the deepest part of the field.
And now David DeJesus. Mentioned earlier that DeJesus and the rest of the Cubs lineup have to face a left-handed starter in back-to-back games, and that's not been good news for them. They're 2-13 against left-handed starters, and DeJesus hitting just 167 coming into the game against lefties. by Butera.
Well, those little things throughout the ball game kind of get unnoticed. Nice block by Butera. That keeps Johnson at first base. 2 outs here in the top of the third.
1-0 to DeJesus.
Johnson at first base, not much of a base stealer, just 1 stolen base in 1 attempt this year. Cubs as a ball club, 43 stolen bases. They've been caught 21 times. Castro with 15 of the 43 stolen bases.
DeJesus trying to keep an eye on Reed Johnson. Cubs don't have a great deal of team speed. 43 steals, 21 throwouts. That kicks away from Butera. It goes off the screen. So now Johnson in scoring position with 2 away.
Well, he saved Liriano a wild pitch a couple pitches ago. This one, that slider down and away, and Butera is going to run out there and make sure what sign they're using with a runner at second base. The ball kind of came right up on Butera and then into the backstop here at Target Field. So Liriano with a wild pitch, his 3rd wild pitch of the year.
So DeJesus at the plate with a 2-0 count.
DeJesus, 32 years old, signed as a free agent over the winter.
Bounce to first. Morneau to Liriano. That ends the inning. It's still 1-0 Cubs. Minnesota Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is brought to you by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. By CenturyLink, a different kind of communications company. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Grand Casino, the best stories start here. An early lead for the Cubs, and Ryan Dempster's making it hold up so far. Butera and Liriano discuss what's happened so far here this afternoon. Cubs have 2 hits, Twins have 1. And strike 1 now to Jamie Carroll. That's a fair ball, headed for the corner, hits the sidewall, and Carroll will be held to a single. Nice retrieve by DeJesus,
And we've seen Carroll do that more than any other Twins right-handed batter. Send a hard ground ball or line drive right down that right field line.
Just pick Denard Span, who's up right now. He's almost the same type of hitter. He lets the ball get deep into the strike zone, and you can see he wants to just shoot the ball the other way. Span does the same thing as a left-handed hitter. A lot of his base hits go the other way. So Carroll, that's his game right there. Just wait deep into the ball game and then just slap it the other way. And another nice play by DeJesus. We saw Reed Johnson so far in this series do a good job in left field and hustling into the corner and keeping the Twins at first base rather than second base.
Here's Span.
Remember the first night, Ryan Domit hit a ball that DeJesus came up and threw quickly and got Domit at second base.
A bunt up the line.
Nice bunt.
Span will get credit for a sacrifice, getting Carroll to second base.
Yeah, nice bunt right there by Span. You have Ben Revere up. He's been swinging a hot bat. Span laying down that ball, getting Carroll over to second base. And for Denard Span, his first sacrifice of the year. So a good job by Denard Span. Asked to get Carroll over, and he's able to do it.
Revere almost called out on a pitch in his first inning at bat, and on the very next pitch he hit a line drive single to center. Strike one. With regular playing time, the Twins have seen from Revere this year at the big league level what they saw all those years in the minor leagues. A guy who looks like he's going to hit 300 or better. To the first baseman, and Baker goes to the bag. 2 down, and that'll bring up Joe Mauer with Carroll now up to third base. Ron Coomer, Ryan Dempster, a veteran pitcher who's been durable and looks very much like a valued member of somebody's pitching rotation by the end of the year.
Well, I couldn't agree more, Dick. He's one of those guys that, kind of like Carl Pavano, has taken some of these young Cub pitchers under his wing in the offseason and works out with them through January and into February. But as a pitcher himself, for the Twins hitters, he's a guy that likes to pitch backwards but has command of all 4 pitches. So to me, when you're hitting, you don't want to guess with him. You want to make sure you look for a pitch or a speed and a location, preferably away, and then look to hit the ball away. The one guy in our lineup that may change, the guy hitting right now, Joe Mauer, he wears guys out when they pitch him away. So that could change, and Dempster could pitch Joe inside.
Yeah, he struck him out inside in his first at-bat. Then the first pitch in on Joe again. See, now it's up to Joe. Now Hill's sitting away and missing down and away.
You don't see Mauer swing and miss that often, and Dempster got him out swinging in the first inning, and then got a cutter or whatever for a swinging strike on the first pitch now.
Yeah, Dempster has a fastball in the low 90s, the curveball, very good slider, and then a split finger. Those are the 4 pitches Ron Coomer was talking about.
And Mauer takes one just off the plate, 2-1.
That was a changeup, or maybe the split finger, just missing.
And Dempster and Hill each wanted that pitch. Dempster takes a little extra time before towing the rubber. Chris Bosio, the pitching coach, glaring at Scott Berry, the umpire. Another swing and a miss.
Well, they tried to go back inside again, and it was just up in the strike zone, and Joe swung through it. Dempster's only other start came at the Metrodome back in 2002. And the Twins hit him around pretty good. He gave up 10 runs in 4+ innings. And the Twins beat him behind Johan Santana 12-7.
2-2 to Mauer. And a called third strike. So Mauer is up twice, has struck out twice with a man in scoring position. It's still 1-0. Randy Bush, former Twin, member of the 87 and 91 Twins, will join us when we come back.
From our GoPro shot. Doesn't make any difference whether it's an 87 reunion, a 91 reunion, an old timers day, a 50 greatest Twins day.
Hey, legends, not old timers.
Legends, excuse me. It's always nice to get a visit in the Twin Cities in our booth from Randy Bush, who's now here as a member, the assistant general manager of the Chicago Cubs. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2 quickly to Soriano. Bushy, good to see you.
Good to be here. Always good to come back and see some friendly faces and good memories, and a beautiful stadium also.
Have you enjoyed your time with the Cubbies?
Not this weekend so much. I mean, my time off the field's been great. Well, you finally got Soriano out. Look at that. Had a great time visiting with a lot of people. We haven't played too well on the field, but we'd like to sneak out of here with one and go home and go from there. So.
Here's a called third strike to Soriano. You mentioned it's a beautiful ballpark. Of course, you enjoyed hitting in the Metrodome. How do you think you'd hit here?
Well, I mean, sure, this ballpark couldn't hold me, Dick. You know that. I mean, 250 career average was well earned, you know. I don't know. I would have loved to have played here. I think the outdoor baseball here is special. And this is just an electric atmosphere. And I know the fans love this facility. And you can sure see why. I've gotten a chance to walk around some and visit. And it's just a beautiful place. And I think it would have been a lot of fun to play here. That's for sure.
You know, now that you're with the Cubs, Wrigley Field, another field that fans just go to say, hey, I was here where, you know, Babe Ruth played at one time. It's a beautiful stadium. They're still fixing that up a little bit, aren't they?
Oh, they are, and it is such a special place. Tremendous atmosphere. I would say that place and Fenway Park are very similar, and the fans just love the whole experience, and it's a great atmosphere. And I tell you, it's pretty special to go to work there every day. It's something that really you never take it for granted. It's a real treat.
Randy Bush, a member of the 1987 Twins, also the 1991 Twins. You know, one thing that take a look at this 2-2 pitch, and it's up the middle off of Liriano to the second baseman, Carroll.
That's the way to get an assist right there.
1-4-3. You know, you guys won it all in '87, and Bert, you've got a different reference point than maybe Randy and some of the others. I sense throughout that year after the World Series, you guys, not many of you were from Minnesota, Laudner and Herbeck were, but you really appreciated what the championship meant to this region with all the Super Bowl losses and everything else.
Oh, I still remember driving to the park for Game 7 and thinking, if we lose this game, we're going to be one more team that just didn't win the big one here. And, you know, all that history had been thrown up in front of us, and it was a tremendous burden on the club, I felt. And what a great feeling that was to come out on top at the end of that game, and something that you carry with you your whole life, that's for sure.
You know, and the way that the fans were, Bushy, I mean, I think everybody remembers, of course, coming back from Detroit. That was probably one of the highlights of going just to the World Series. But even in Game 7, my goodness, the 10th player we had, the fans of Minnesota.
It was tremendous.
You got time to spend another half inning with us?
Love to.
All right, this one was quick, just the way we like it. We're going to have a much longer bottom of the fourth inning. stand in the interleague series against the Brewers. That series is presented by CenturyLink, and on Father's Day, 1 week from today, the first 10,000 men will get a great Twins golf head cover, courtesy of 1500 ESPN. Tickets available for next Sunday, so call 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com. Dick Bramer, Bert Blyleven, joined by one of my favorite Twins, Randy Bush, part of the two-time World Series champion Minnesota Twins in '87 and '91, here as an executive with the Chicago Cubs. Swing and a miss by Willingham and Bushy.
Why were you surprised by that?
Yeah. No, I wasn't.
It sounded like you were surprised.
I was just saying it a second time with emphasis. It's a different role, isn't it? Watching the game from up here and making player evaluations on an ongoing basis.
I think it's a more stressful role watching it up here. You feel so helpless during the game, and I've had a harder time getting used to watching games from up higher, although the game is a lot easier up here, as we've all heard.
Sure is, isn't it?
0-2 to Willingham, leading off the Twins' fourth. They'll be followed by Morneau and Bloof. Bouncer to short, picked up by Castro. One down.
Nice play right there by Castro. Boy, you can see that the ability just to kind of glide over and just make a good solid throw across the diamond. Nice play by this young 22-year-old. You guys have to be very high on him, Bushy.
We really are. He's 22 years old, and sometimes you have to remind yourself of that when he makes mistakes. But my gosh, what he's done already in the big leagues at such a young age, and he's just getting better and better all around, both offensively and defensively. I think he's got a chance to come into some power, kind of like Kirby did, where he kind of developed it. I know Puck's progression was 0 his first year, then 4, and then all of a sudden 31. And we think Castro has a chance to fill out and develop like that also, and he's just learning how to play. You know, he's got there's nothing like going out there and doing the job. And I think defensively in the last month or so, he's made like one error. So he's really coming along.
Yeah, I know you, Bushy, the organization, very unhappy at the way that this season has gone for the Cubs with a trading deadline. I'm sure you guys are looking to maybe, trade some of your veterans so you guys can get back into that winning mode by just getting some new players in.
I think that's a reality that you have to look at in today's game. I think that if we can take short-term assets and turn them into long-term assets for the Cubs, we have to do that, and we have to listen to the opportunities that come along. So I think that's very fair to present it that way.
How can you help but think, you talked about ending the hex in Minnesota by winning the World Series in '87. How can you help but think what it's going to be like if you're part of a World Championship ball club with the Chicago Cubs after a more than a century-long drought?
I can't tell you how many times I've had that thought, and I think everybody who's worked for the Cubs has had that thought. It's like the ultimate dream to think what it would mean to that area to have that parade in Chicago. And
oh boy, that would be a heck of a parade, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. It's something that motivates you every day.
2 gone. Dempster on a bit of a roll here. He's retired the last 5 batters.
Well, the Cubs have not won since 2008, the World Series. The last time they went was 1945 was the last time they went to the World Series. They've had opportunities, but hadn't panned out.
It's been a long drought, and just as we were talking earlier, I remember that burden going to Game 7 and thinking about that, and so I understand some of the additional pressures that are on our players as they come here and they wear that Cubs uniform and they get reminded over and over again of how long it has been. So part of putting the club together is getting the right kind of people that are tough enough to fight through that additional burden.
Well, you brought in Theo Epstein that went through that when he took over the Boston Red Sox and they won 2 World Series.
Absolutely. And it can happen, and it's just going to take the right group of guys that can overcome. And look what they had to overcome, coming back from a 3-0 deficit to the Yankees and going on to win the World Series. And you just feel like you're going to have guys that are going to have to dig down, and it's not going to be easy, but we're working on putting those right guys together on the field.
2 strikes to Trevor Plouffe. Now you're coming back to Minnesota again later this year when Tom Kelly's getting his number retired.
Wouldn't miss it. As soon as I heard that news, I called TK, told him how happy I was for him and how deserved it was, and that I would be here no matter what. It means a lot to me to see his number go up there, and I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
I think anybody who ever played for TK are very, very proud that number 10 will be hung amongst the other numbers up there.
Absolutely.
1-2 to Plouffe, and now in the dirt, 2-2. Plouffe trying to get something started with 2 gone in the 4th inning. Dempster's been in control. He's given up a couple of hits. He's also hit a batter. He seems to be working at a good pace and pitching with a purpose. 2-2 to Plouffe. Half swing and he went again. Another 1-2-3 inning. 6 in a row set down by Dempster. And our thanks to Randy Bush for stopping by.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Final game of the series between the Twins and the Cubs. Robbie Inns-Mikowski, Ron Coomer, Burt Blylev, and Dick Bramer. Our thanks again to Randy Bush for being with us. And now Francisco Liriano will pitch to the bottom third of the Cub lineup. First pitch hit down the left field line. Deep but foul. 1 strike. Liriano has pitched very well. He's thrown a very high percentage of strikes, a better than 2-to-1 ratio so far. Very first batter of the game, Reed Johnson, reached on a bloop hit and scored the only run of the game so far. Barney hit a fly ball to right his first time up. Then it'll be Ian Stewart and Coy Hill. Did you see any difference in Liriano mechanically before or after his demotion to the bullpen?
Well, he had a chance to go down in the bullpen and just try to drive that left shoulder a little bit more toward home plate. He's always going to kind of recoil. But Ben Revere getting underneath this ball for the first out off the bat of Barney. Up here in our Circle Me Burt guests today, we have some young men, and Norma, and I believe it's Susan from Huron, South Dakota. Welcome, guys. Welcome to Major League Baseball here at this beautiful field at Target Field. See, you guys are on camera. Watch this. I'm going to circle you. There you go. You are hereby circled.
1 gone. Here's Ian Stewart. Pulled foul.
Yeah, a lot of times what we'll see from Liriano, Dick, is that violent type of delivery where, you know, he'll step across and his body will kind of take him over towards, say, Trevor Plouffe. But Rick Anderson's really been trying to work him to stay over the top of the rubber and then deliver the ball. And then once you let that ball go, then your body can react any way it wants. Sometimes he lands on his heel, which will make him kind of not really recoil, but go off to the side like that. And that's the inconsistency, I think, of what they're trying to do, is find that consistent release point. Watch the heel of that right foot, and he'll hit heel and then You see him come over his body. That's a good pitch right there.
3-1. Remember Randy Johnson when he was still wrestling with his control.
Let's see what Fox Track says about this pitch right here. I thought it was a good pitch.
That's a strike. And
same pitch.
Stewart thought it was ball four.
Well, I don't blame him.
Randy Johnson, when he was struggling with his control, when he was down in Texas, still pitching then, I think, for the Mariners. And he had Nolan Ryan watch his delivery. And Ryan got him to land on the balls of his feet rather than his heel. And that was a big step forward for Randy Johnson and finally arresting his control problems and becoming a future Hall of Fame pitcher.
Well, you know what? It just took someone like Nolan Ryan. He was probably told the same thing by other people, but all of a sudden Nolan Ryan said it and he goes, it clicked. You know, and sometimes it just takes a certain individual to say the right thing, even though they have been told 100 times by other people, and it worked.
Span with a nice running catch, a 1-2-3-5, and who better to talk about arresting control problems than Nolan Ryan himself?
Circle, and I've got $100 in my hand here of Minnesota State Lottery scratch-off tickets, and they're from Mark and Jessica here. Bert, look at this. It's their 5th anniversary. They want to be circled, and they're Cubs fans. Now you think, why would we circle a Cub fan? Well, guess what? They have another sign right here. For the 105th time next year is our year. So we have a little bit of sympathy for these guys, Dick and Bert, and that 105 suffering years, the least we could do is get them some lottery tickets and have you circle them.
Well, they are hereby circle and tell them good luck.
Well, Ryan Dempster might not be around when the Cubs win the World Series, but he's pitching a good ball game here today, giving up just a couple of hits. They've both been solidly struck. Revere's single in the first inning and Carroll's single in the third. Now Dozier, Butera, and Carroll will face him in the 5th. Strike one.
Well, both pitchers going about their business. That's 10 straight first pitch strikes for Dempster against the Twins offense. So both starters getting ahead in the count.
Just off the plate, 1-1.
Both starters with 5 strikeouts in the ball game. Only 4 hits, 2 by the Cubs, 2 by the Twins.
Foul back. 1-2. Brought his glove and ended up with that foul ball. Foul tip. And then off of Hill's glove to the backstop. Twins trying to get their leadoff man on. They did that in the 3rd. Carroll singled. Span sacrificed him to second, but Dempster didn't give up another hit and ended up stranding Carroll at third base. Dozier chops it up the line. Foul. Great weekend of baseball here. Twins playing good baseball. Wouldn't want to be any place but here. But if I had to be someplace else, I might want to have been in New York for the Stratomatic Marathon in New York. A couple of Minnesota men setting the record for continuous hours of Stratomatic baseball. Outside.
Is that the one where you have to like push that?
No, that was a Catico or something. The spinner. Yeah. This was a dice game. I played it all the time as a kid. All the time. I played full seasons of Stratomatic. Inside, and it's 3-2. Took the player stats from the year before, and they had it all figured out. How with the roll of 3 dice.
His first 3-ball count for Dempster in this ball game. 57 pitches, 43 for strikes. No walks, 5 strikeouts.
See, on Dozier's card, a walk would be like 3-11. See if he can get a 3-11 here. Nope.
What is that?
2-6. Pop up to the second baseman. 1 down. Sundays on Fox Sports North, join Tom Brokaw for Boys in the Hall, the personal stories of some of baseball's greatest legends. This week it's Juan Marichal. Boys in the Hall after the game, presented by Subway Restaurants, where winners eat. 1 down. That'll bring up Drew Butera.
Well, I've met Juan Marichal. Of course, he'll be in the induction weekend in July when Ron Santo, a Cub, and then also Barry Larkin getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. But what a nice man.
Well, you were speaking of Juan Marichal, but the same could be said for Ron Santo, and we're thrilled that he finally is getting in. We're very sad that it's being done posthumously.
It's a shame.
Butera cracks a single to left. And Butera's aboard with 1 out. That'll bring up Jamie Carroll. Maybe our trivia question, brought to you by AT&T, is Hall of Fame related. Who's the only shortstop to win back-to-back MVP awards, I believe. I believe it is Hall of Fame related. We'll just give you one clue at that. It was not Jamie Carroll, although he singled and got as far as third base in the 3rd inning. Strike 1. Now, when the induction's held in July, you'll be going back this year, and as many years as you can, right?
Oh yeah, I'm also going back for a fundraiser for the museum this weekend, at the coming weekend, for Father's Day weekend. There's 6 Hall of Famers coming back, along with former players, to play a 7-inning ball game and have a lot of fun.
Inside 1-1 to Carroll. Are you pitching in this said ball game?
I may. It depends on how my arm feels. I think I want to face Eddie Murray because he hit a home run off of me in the '79 World Series that's still going, and I want to face him again. I think I can get him out this time.
1-1. Now, Eddie hit so many home runs, he probably forgot about that one, but apparently you have not.
No, I have not, and he actually got his first major league hit off of me. So that's
first
something.
Of 3,000 some hits. You probably forgot about that hit.
It was funny about the '79 World Series because going in, I had not faced Eddie in 2-3 years, and they said he was not looking good on off-speed pitches, and that was like my 3rd pitch. So I threw him a changeup, and he hit about 450 feet, and that was the last off-speed pitch we threw him the whole series. So I was the guinea pig, I guess.
Well, ordinarily, I enjoy seeing you wearing the 1987 Twins ring, but instead of pitching to him and trying to strike him out, why don't you just wear the '79 Pirates ring and wave it in front of his eye?
We did win that series.
Yeah. 2-2 to Carroll. A napkin is blown onto the mound between home and first base. Dempster tried to retrieve it, and it's like it was on a string. Somebody pulled it away from him. Well, the Twins haven't had many opportunities with just 4 base runners, but they'll try to do something with Butera's 1-out single here. A little pop up, and it will reach the seats. Well, now you'll be pitching against fellow Hall of Famers. Is that the plan?
Mostly, I think, just former players that will be coming in.
Okay. It sounds like somebody ought to televise that.
Well, it's an annual event there of a great way for, it's right on Father's Day. Actually, we're doing it Saturday, the day before Father's Day. A lot of people come over, and their admissions into the ballpark there at Doubleday Field go to help run the museum.
2-2 to Carroll. And a high fly left field, hanging in the air for Johnson.
That's a good pitch right there, because remember, Carroll in his last at-bat got a fastball away that he hit down that first base line. This one was a fastball in. Carroll tried to pull it, but Ryan Dempster, so far this afternoon, he has been on. Remember his last start, he took a perfect game against the Brewers into the 6th inning. And watch the glove movement right here. A lot of pitchers get ready, but do you see that as a hitter? I don't think so. You try to look for the ball, but he does have that awkward type of setup in his windup about dropping the glove and then spinning it around.
3 singles for the Twins. They may need an extra base hit to score the tying run, and Span shoots one foul.
Well, remember Carroll in his first at bat in the 3rd inning, he let off with a base hit. So you know what? They said, heck with that, pitching him away. We're going to stay inside.
Box Tracks brought to you by Window Concepts of Minnesota.
And instead of Carroll able to just hit the ball the other way, he kind of jammed himself and hit that fly ball to left field. So those are the adjustments you make in the ball game. Fastball up and in.
1-1. So that's what you're going to do to Eddie Murray if you face him next Saturday, right? See, I think that game should be televised, and then, of course, you'd need a television play-by-play guy.
Mm-hmm. And you should.
And
you're available.
I'll do it. Be glad to. 1-1. See if Span can deliver that extra base hit to get this game tied up.
And we're going to need a camera crew, so everybody in the truck is welcome.
On the outside corner with a breaking pitch.
Mike V wants to be a statistician, but we don't need statisticians there. You're not welcome. The numbers are behind us.
1-2 to Span. Cinch the outside corner with a fastball.
I think what we've seen, Scott Berry has given a little bit more outside than he has in. I noticed it last night's ball game with Paul Immel, the third base umpire here today. You know, that umpire, again, they sit right over the right shoulder with a left-handed hitter up. So that ball sometimes has to be right on the plate, but they can't see that ball as well away. So that catcher sits outside. Watch Hill sit right there. You hit a spot. That ball just a little bit low. You may get that call 2 or 3 inches off the plate.
Close pitch, and Dempster wanted that one too.
It's like a little cutter right there that just missed down and away.
3-2, so Butera, who is not blessed with great speed, will get an early jump from first.
Yeah, Baker, the first baseman, playing behind Drew. You see where the umpire sits right there. The angle away might be difficult to see.
Span fouls it back with Butera off on the pitch.
And that's one thing that I know I've talked to different people about. I think we've talked about it, Dick, as far as the umpires rotating the way they are. There's no American National League umpire. You don't get to know as a pitcher and a catcher a lot of these umpires, because there's so many of them now that, you know, Scott Berry, I don't know how many times he's been here already this year working the plate. It's not only important for the pitcher, it's also for the catcher.
Span fouls another one back. They must be taught to sit over the inside corner. They all do it. And so the layman like me would wonder, well, why don't they just sit right over the catcher's head? Why don't they sit over the middle of the plate and have a better view of the whole strike zone rather than the inside corner?
Well, they used to be when they had the balloon, you know, protectors. But I think, you know, National League, they are always like this. They sit on the inside. They get a little bit lower.
There's ball 4. Span will walk, and Butera will take a big turn at second. So now Revere will have a chance with the tying run and scoring position.
First walk of the ball game for Dempster.
Revere coming to the plate, and our Sanford Health injury report dealing with a former Cub, Carlos Zambrano. having a good, not a great, but a good year in his first year with the Marlins.
Yeah, they're going to miss his arm in that rotation. Also going to miss his bat. Very good hitter.
Well, the Twins trying to get a big hit here to get the game tied up. Revere singled, stole second in the first. And he hit a ground ball with Carroll at second and one out in the third. Second opportunity for Revere with a man in scoring position. Up and away, ball one.
So I think if an umpire, and let's go back to that real quick, if they got right behind the catcher, I don't think they can get as low, because you watch Barry, he's kind of looking over the shoulder of Hill, the catcher, to where if he's standing right over the top of him, he's got to look down almost at the top of his helmet.
2-0. And Hill to the mound to talk to Dempster.
It's a tough job, being an umpire, and these guys take a lot of pride in their work. A little bit outside, and that's the view that Barry gets. Ball high.
Two and 0 to Revere. Crack foul, 2-1. 92-mile-per-hour fastball. Revere almost hit it out of Gill's mitt.
Outstanding. Pitches. Yeah, 27 so far this inning. The first 4 outstanding, just like Liriano.
Bounce to third. Fielded by Stewart. And a close play at first.
Well, that hesitation by Stewart made it a lot closer than it should have been because of Ben Revere's hustle.
The Twins strand 2 on the 5th.
Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. we are expecting mainly clear skies for Game 1 in the series, and it is going to be pretty pleasant all around. Your first pitch coming in at 66 degrees, and we'll have winds out of the south around 4 to 8 miles per hour.
Yeah, a little hotter and muggier today. Twins hoping to come back from an early 1-0 deficit. The Cubs got their run in the first inning. Reed Johnson singled and scored in the first inning, and he'll lead off the 6th.
Yeah, Liriano 63 pitches in 5 innings, 42 for strikes. Same thing happening to Liriano that happened in his last start when he was against the Royals in Kansas City. He gave up a run in the second inning and ended up losing that ball game 1-0. Bruce Chin and their bullpen shut out the Twins. Well, both starters, 5 innings. Both have pitched very, very well. The 1 run off of Liriano in the first inning. Liriano with only 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, almost even across the board for both starters.
2-0 to Johnson, and there is a strike.
Twins have a chance if they win and the Royals lose to climb out of the basement in the American League Central. Starting today, the Twins 8.5 games out of first. Off the plate, 3-1. Team to chase right now, of course, the White Sox. And they're trailing the Astros 4-3 at U.S. Cellular Field. Lifted foul and out of play. It's been a constant theme, if you will, for the Twins. Roll into June, get into interleague schedule and play well, and that's all well and good. We'll enjoy this run as long as it lasts, but the challenge will be ultimately when the Twins get back to American League teams, specifically within the division. That's when they want to be playing like they're playing right now. Getting good pitching, clutch hitting, good defense. And Liriano misses. It's a leadoff walk to Johnson. He's only walked 2 men, but it's been Johnson each time. If you're hitting the road, you can take the Twins with you. Subscribe to MLB.tv to see every Twins out of market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit twinsbaseball.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Home territory blackout restrictions apply. Here's Starlin Castro, a strikeout and a fly to center. There's the outside corner. This is the end of what has been a torturously long road trip for the Cubs. They started the road trip with 4 losses in San Francisco, lost 2 out of 3 in Milwaukee, 1-1.
Yeah, they go back home after this, have an off day tomorrow. Then the Tigers and the Red Sox come into Chicago. Liriano getting ahead in the count. 20 batters face, 15 first pitch strikes. Liriano's had 5 double plays turned behind him.
2-1. Pitch count good, just 72 on the day, and Butera will run the ball back to the mound.
Yeah, Drew, I think, saw something right there. Just have a little conversation with Liriano, get him back. Maybe, hey, just focus on my glove. Don't try to do too much right here. Keep that ball down, hopefully get a ground ball.
Rick Anderson encouraged by what he's seen from Liriano in the 2 prior starts and so far here today. Two and 1. Cubs don't have a whole lot of speed, although Campana, their speedster, has 18 steals and Castro has 15. 33 of the 43 steals on the team. There's a called strike.
Yeah, looked like a changeup right there. 2-1. That's how much confidence that Liriano has in all his 3 of his pitches, and also Butera calling it.
So 2-2. Blocked by Butera, full count. We'll see if Johnson takes off here from first in the 6th inning with a full count. Former Twin Dave McKay, the first base coach. McKay, a footnote in Twins history, hit a home run in his first major league at bat for the Twins.
Well, he looks like he could still play. Keeps himself in great shape.
Full count to Castro. Johnson goes, and the pitch poked to right, a base hit. Revere's going to try to run it down, and he can't. It'll go to the wall. Johnson to third, and he'll be held up there. So the throw to the infield from Revere was on one hop to Carroll. But with nobody out, the Cubs held the runner, second and third, and nobody out.
Well, good hitting by Castro. It looked like a changeup that stayed up. And Castro, like we showed Jamie Carroll earlier in the ball game, just went with that pitch, outer half of the plate. Ball pass kept spinning away from Revere. He gets it back in as quick as he can. The runners at second and third, nobody out.
Twins will play the infield back up the middle with DeJesus at the plate. Again, DeJesus really struggling against lefties this year. Is 0 for 2 against Liriano.
He struck him out in the first inning on a good slider down and away. He needs to get ahead in the count right here.
Bounce to second. Carroll looks at the runner coming in. DeJesus retired. It's 2-0.
Well, DeJesus credited with an RBI on the 4-3 putout as Johnson scores for the second time in the ball game to make it a 2-0 ball game. And a good at bat for DeJesus because he not only gets the RBI, also Castro going from second to third.
Little meeting on the mound. Plouffe there, Butera there. And the leadoff walk by Liriano ends up costing him a run. And Soriano doubled in a run in the first, hit a line shot off the glove of Willingham and left, and then was called out on strikes in the fourth. The Twins will intentionally walk him here in the sixth. Soriano's done enough damage with his home runs and the double.
Well, third walk of the ball game, the first intentional walk for Liriano, his third intentional walk of the year. And so far in this ball game, the pitch count at 80. You can see 49% fastballs, 43% breaking balls, being the slider or the changeup, or 8% off-speed pitch, 43% the slider. So almost 50-50.
Baker's hit the ball hard twice against Liriano. A line out to center in the first. Then a one-hop smash off of Liriano. Baker was thrown out by Carroll. Fouled back, 1 strike. As effective as Scott Diamond has been for the Twins, he does not have what Liriano has, and that is strikeout ability. In a situation like this, Liriano, more than any other Twins pitcher, can get a big strikeout here, a big second out, if he can get Baker. And then go after Mather. Foul back, 2 strikes. And when up there with 2 strikes, you'd have to expect the slider.
Yeah,
right?
Baker missed his pitch right there. I think a fastball. So you got to look slider down and in. See what Butera calls right here. There's Scott Diamond after another great outing last night. That ERA for Diamond now at 1.61. That's the best in Twins history this late in the year.
2 strikes. Slider in the dirt.
And when you get ahead in the count like this, okay, you miss and you missed in the right spot down in the strike zone, you get a chance to maybe do it again. You know, if it's a 3-2 pitch or you're 2-1 and the pitch count 20 so far this inning. Other than that, all the innings have been outstanding.
There it is. 2 down. And the changeup, as effective as it is, now Johan Santana had a changeup that would get a lot of strikeouts. In Liriano's case, that seems to be more of a ground ball or pop-up pitch for him.
Well, something, you know, they got great arm speed. Look at that slider right there. The tight rotation of Liriano's slider. Looks like a fastball, then the bottom, like I mentioned earlier, just drops out of it.
Now Mather will hit.
That's a gift. That's something that, you know, that he just has. I mean, Steve Carlton had one of the nastiest sliders you'd ever see, and you just get on top of that ball. It looks like it's a rotation of the ball, and it just dips down. Not too many guys can throw that type of slider.
It's like a good sinker ball. It's hard to hit the bottom half of the ball when all you can see is the top half. 1 strike to Mather. A couple of ground balls so far for the Cubs center fielder. 1-1.
Cubs had Myron Bird here and they ended up giving him to the Boston Red Sox, and now the Boston Red Sox just designated him for assignment.
Getting some outfielders healthy. Chop foul, 1-2. For a while, the Red Sox had 7 different outfielders on the disabled list. It's one thing to have 7 people on the disabled list, but when they all play the same position, it's pretty tough. 1-2. Liriano trying to keep the damage to a minimum here in the 6th.
Well, we can say one thing in this ball game for Liriano. He has worked the count in his favor by getting ahead and picking up some strikeouts.
That gets by Butera. And so Castro will score from third. A rarity as the ball went right between Butera's legs. And Castro comes in for the 3rd run.
I tell you, nobody more upset than Butera right there, because that ball, I think, has to be stopped. He has to get in front of it, and the ball somehow got through him. Going back to the slider again, and the ball maybe skipped off the plate and then got by Drew. And not a lot of room back there. It did hit the limestone, but didn't hit it as hard as you would have liked to, or maybe a carry back toward home plate.
And now down the line, Mather with a double, and that scores Soriano, and it's 4-0 Cubs. So the Cubs parlay the opening walk, a couple of doubles, an intentional walk, a wild pitch, and turn it into 3 runs here in the 6th inning.
Well, Mather picking up his 7th double, picking up his 9th RBI of the year for the Cubs. 4 hits for the Cubs. Ron Gardenhire coming out to the mound.
And Liriano sailing through 5 innings, the leadoff walk, kind of an omen for what was to follow, with Liriano coming out of the game now and the Cubs enjoying a 4-0 lead.
And win an unbelievable prizes in the Fan Zone. Walk on and win a Ken Herbeck autographed baseball or bat courtesy of Carrier. Not a member? Join now. It's fast and free, and it's all at the Fan Zone tab on foxsportsnorth.com. Mr. Herbeck, number 14, retired here at Target Field.
Well, Liriano was one good pitch away from getting out of the inning with just 1 run allowed in the 6th, but then the wild pitch followed by the RBI double, and suddenly it's 4-0. Brian Dunsing in for the Twins. And an early start from second base. Mather was headed toward third. Dunsing spun around and got him back to the bag.
Yeah, he just stepped off. You have to step off the pitching rubber right there. Good job by Dunsing, noticing that Mather was taking off early.
Off the plate, ball 1. Important runs for the Cubs, because as good as Dempster has been, the bullpen's been terrible. The White Sox have set a record for futility by losing 12 straight 1-run ball games. swing and a foul. So they'd like to push this lead out as far as they can and cross their fingers it won't become a close game.
Well, Brian Densing making his first appearance in this series, his 26th appearance out of that bullpen. He's done a great job at 2.76 ERA. Only 23 hits allowed in 30 innings pitched, 7 walks, 18 strikeouts.
Bounce to the right side. Carroll in front of it. And that ends the 6th inning. 3 for the Cubs. And now they lead by 4. In the Coors Light freeze can.
Well, I think they have to be pretty pleased that Liriano's outing. He had 6 strikeouts. Fastball against Soriano gets a strikeout, and then a couple more on good sliders down and away. Even though Liriano worked only 5 2/3 innings, 89 pitches, 54 for strikes. I thought he pitched a good ball game. You know, you're going to have games that the opponent takes advantage of a situation or an inning. And Gene Mox told me one time, Gene Mox, the manager for the Twins back in '76, said, he'd been in a game forever. He said 70% of all leadoff walks score. And, that walk in the top of the 6th inning to Johnson kind of set the tone, as you mentioned, Dick, for the rest of that inning.
What you saw back then was the Frost Brewed Coors Light freeze can. Mauer with a 1-1 count. Dempster has struck him out twice. 2-1. The Twins, who hardly flinched over the last couple of weeks when they've been behind by a run or two, now find themselves down by 4. Need an icebreaker against Dempster. Sliced foul, 2-2.
Well, Dempster, as I mentioned earlier, he's coming off a very good start against the Brewers, where he had a perfect game going into the 6th inning. He ended up working 7 shutout innings, only gave up 3 hits in that ball game, as the Cubs won 10-0.
Lifted to left, right at Reed Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson had to fight that sun right there.
1 down. Time for the CenturyLink high-speed pitch.
Yeah, Dempster 1 out here in the 6th inning. He's been clocked as high as 93, and Liriano at 95.
If the Cubs are years away from contending, you wonder what the value would be in keeping Dempster around, who's a free agent after this year.
Now, we're talking to Randy Bush off the air about that, and Dempster does have a no-trade clause. But, you look at a young man like this that, is getting up there in age, 35 years old. He'd like to be maybe put into a pennant situation. So, he may say, you know what, hey, I'll throw out my no-trade clause.
If
you send me to a...
if you tack on a couple more years to my contract.
Well, that could be, yeah.
2-0 to Willingham. He was hit by a pitch and then he bounced to short. And those are the types of deals that would be done late in July, not necessarily on deadline day, July 31st, but Cubs have an infield shift on behind Dempster. 2-1 to Willingham, and strike 2. Middle of the lineup has been very quiet for the Twins. It's been very productive over the last 2 weeks, so credit Dempster for doing a really good job.
Yeah, he's hitting his spots.
High fly ball to center field. And Mather back, now in, 2 down.
Well, you almost see where Hill is set up. That ball is around the glove area.
So 2 down, and here's Justin Morneau. I believe our AT&T trivia question answers Ernie Banks.
Yeah, good day to play 2. Let's play 2.
And then later on, was shifted over to first base and kept hitting home runs.
And what a nice man he is also.
This one popped up. And coming back is Hill, but it's out of play.
You know, Dempster's never been in postseason play either, other than, you know, I mean, a little bit, but you want to get to the World Series like Randy Bush was talking about earlier. And Dempster missed out by when the Marlins won the World Series in 2003. He was traded that winter to the Cincinnati Reds. So, you know, and as a pitcher, as you get older, you want that ring. You'd like to, you know, hang your hat on something when you retire.
Rolled to the right side, gobbled up nicely by Barney, and he throws him out. So a 1-2-3-6 for Dempster. He's thrown 89 pitches, leading 4-0.
Liriano right off the tip of the glove of Willingham. That scored Johnson from first base in the first inning. And then 3 runs scored by the Cubs, highlighted by the Mather double. And from there, it's Ryan Dempster, 6 shutout innings. 5 strikeouts in the ball game for Dempster, 1 walk. He's thrown 90 pitches, 63 for strikes.
So the Cubs bat now in the 7th, and Ian Stewart will lead things off against Brian Dunsing, and a strike on the outside corner. Kind of a curious part of the schedule. There was an off day on Thursday, another off day tomorrow. It should all help restore the stamina in the Twins bullpen. Lifted to left field. Span calling for it. Makes the catch, 1 away. If you act today, you can get a steal of a deal on the Sports Authority Value Pack when the Twins host the Phillies on Tuesday after tomorrow's off day.
For a limited time, you can get the deal on U.S. Bank home run porch tickets and get a Schweiger's hot dog and Pepsi for just $19. The deal against the Phillies is available by logging on to twinsbaseball.com or by calling 800-33-TWINS. And while you're at it, check out the great ticket offers for upcoming games at Target Field.
Phillies having a tough time getting back in that division. The Washington Nationals off to a great start. Phillies coming into play 7 games behind the Nationals in last place.
Span with the catch. Jim Thome with 2 more hits again in yesterday's game as he's trying to provide a spark for the Philly lineup. Just off the disabled list. 2 down quickly here in the 7th, and that brings up Reed Johnson. Debris blowing around Target Field with the 20-25 mile per hour wind blowing in from right field. Fouled back. Strike.
Well, that average at 283 for Johnson is right about what his career average at 282 coming into this year. Done a good job as that leadoff hitter. Has had a very good series for the Cubs. 5 hits in the series. A couple walks here today. Base hit in the first inning. Scored 2 of the 4 runs the Cubs have been able to put on the board.
2 strikes to Johnson. Drew a big walk leading off the 6th inning. The Cubs scored 3 runs that inning, and Johnson swings and misses. A good inning for Dunsing. He's faced 4 men and retired them all. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is brought to you by McDonald's. Get a freshly brewed cup of premium roast coffee from McDonald's. Any size is just $1. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T. Rethink possible. Beautiful day to be at the ballpark or on a Minnesota lake. Ryan Dempster handcuffing the Twins, and last year he was asked to imagine what it would be like if Derek Jeter had gotten his 3,000th hit against the Cubs with former Cub announcer Harry Carey.
Well, Derek Jeter got stuck on 2.999 going for his 3,000th hit. Heck, I remember when Ernie Banks was going for his milestone. Oh, my God, there's the pitch, and it's a base hit to right field, and here comes out the Yankee dugout. Derek Jeter getting mobbed by his teammates. All right. Go, Derek. That's awesome.
Well,
he was one of a kind, wasn't he, Harry Carey?
Much more serious matter here as the Twins have 3 innings worth of at-bats left to cover up a 4-0 deficit. Dempster's been tough, particularly against the middle of the Twins lineup. Plouffe has struck out twice swinging against him. There's a bunt. Fielded and bobbled by Stewart, and Plouffe will reach with a bunt single.
That ball had some spin on it right there as it hit the turf here. It kind of had almost a backspin effect. And then Stewart came in, tried to barehand it. And he kind of just lost the handle of the ball right there. Watch the spin right there. It almost hit like a little wedge going into the green. And the ball came up on him, and he never really got a grip on that baseball. Could be an infield base hit, which it is for Trevor Plouffe.
Now the Twins need to back me up with Brian Dozier, who has bounced to second and popped to second. Ball 1. 92 pitches for Dempster, and he's as aware as anyone of the ineffectiveness of his bullpen.
Kind of makes you want to go 9, doesn't it?
2-0. And no one wants him to go deeper in the ballgame more than his manager. No, it's hard for a starting pitcher to pitch well and watch it all get blown up by a bullpen.
Yeah, the only left-hander out there, James Russell, starting to loosen up. He worked here on a Friday night. But Dempster's high pitch count this year, 108 in a ballgame. Right now at 93. In his last start, where he had 7 shutout innings, he threw an even 100 pitches.
2-1.
Left with a 5-0 lead. Again, working the corners and keeping the ball down.
Fox Tracks brought to you by Carrier. 2-1. Another bunt. Easier play for Stewart. He throws him out. Dozier clearly bunting for a hit. I don't know whether the official scorer will give him credit for a sacrifice. I would hope not.
No, not in a 4-0 ball game.
This extended interleague homestand should get even more fun when the reigning National League East champions from Philadelphia come to Target Field on Tuesday for 3 games. Tickets are available for all 3 games against the Phillies. Jim Thome will be in the lineup, or so we think. And you can secure your seats this afternoon by calling 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com. Now Butera, who's single to left. That's down the line, but it'll hook foul.
You know, with Dozier bunting right there, I think that's just kind of a rookie mistake right there. Unless you know you're going to get an infield base hit. Stewart was playing back, but you better be able to lay down that ball and beat it out, especially when you're down 4-0 here in the 7th inning. He's got the capabilities of hitting a gapper and maybe creating a bigger inning.
He hasn't squared up many balls lately, that's for sure, so maybe a sign of a less than confident hitter. But Dozier retired. Twins running out of outs. See if Butera can at least get 1 run in here in the 7th with Plouffe at second. Swing and a foul, 1-2. Drew's father Sal here scouting this series. Chopper left side, and the ball bobbled by Castro. Plouffe coming around third. Here's a throw to the plate, and he is out. The Twins catch a break and give it right back. 2 away.
Well, a nice play by Castro right there on the 2nd attempt. The first one he just kind of bobbled and just didn't stand there. He ran after it right away. And with the Twins down 4-0.
Well, Plouffe's got the sign from Steve Little to try to go ahead and score.
Well, you're thinking that this ball is going to go into short left, but Castro chases after it, barehands it, and then a good quick throw to home plate, and Hill protecting the plate. You can see there's no way that Poof was going to get the home plate. Hill almost tackled him.
Tagging him in the jaw. So a runner at second, Butera reaching on the air, and then the fielder's choice.
That'll be a 6-2 putout of Plouffe at home.
And here's Jamie Carroll. Up high, ball one. One and 0 to the number 9 batter. Bounce to third. An easy play for Stewart. Throws across. Twins get a leadoff bunt single, but don't score. Dempster has 7 shutout innings. Lead pitcher, and our email the booth question today coming from Shannon Brown of Fargo. Pitchers have a routine. I think we got that answer from Glenn Perkins earlier.
I'll be in the clubhouse for the first 3, and typically I'll watch us pitch against their guys, and then I'll go into the video room and I'll just kind of watch them back again, just see what they're doing and see where their feet are going, and if they're if they're stepping open, if they're staying closed, where they're looking for a pitch, and then we'll come out here and then head out there in the 5th. We'll head out there in between the 4th and the 5th.
Yeah, you can do that if you're, someone like Perkins or Caps that, are going to be in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning. If you're maybe Dunsing or, say, Swarzak, they're usually out there a little bit earlier, really the first part of the game. They kind of go out with the starting pitcher and kind of hang out there because you just don't know how far that starter is going to go in the ballgame. For Jared Burton, he knows he's usually in the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning. Very good numbers, making his 25th appearance.
He'll face Starlin Castro leading off the Chicago 8th inning.
Yeah, Burton does not allow a run in his last 6 appearances, covering 6 innings, only 4 hits, 1 walk, with 10 strikeouts.
Had a streak on the road where he had 3 1-2-3 innings and had 8 strikeouts among 9 batters faced. Really can't do much better than that.
No, you cannot. Good job by Brian Dunsing. Retired all 4 batters he was asked in relief of Francisco Liriano. Burton in his first season with the Twins, the last 5 with the Cincinnati Reds.
Busted bat, a little fly to center, and it's going to die in the Bermuda Triangle between Span, Dozier, and Carroll.
Reed Johnson almost started off the ball game just like that. A ball not hit very sharply, but right in the right spot. Little sinking fastball. And the bat shatters in Castro's hands. And that deadens that ball right into that no man's land.
Leadoff single for the Cubs. Here's DeJesus.
Now keep an eye on Castro. He has 15 stolen bases on the year. He likes to run in 21 attempts.
Strike. DeJesus drove in a run with a ground ball. At the time, the score was 1-0, and the Cubs had runners at second and third and nobody out. Twins played the corner infielders in, middle infielders back, and DeJesus on the first pitch from Liriano grounded a grounder to Jamie Carroll. There goes Castro. Here's Butera's throw, and it's high. It's a stolen base for Castro.
I think even a great throw would have not been able to get Castro. He had a tremendous jump off of Burton. So he steals his 16th base of the year. Look at the jump he had. Butera's throw high, but head first slide by the young 22-year-old.
One and one, and with Castro now at second base. Plouffe comes in a step or two at third on the edge of the grass. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
It's that circle changeup that Jared Burton has. Nasty pitch. Not bad to show that once in a while. Bring that left knee up and just kind of spin. Let that runner at second base, especially a speedster like Castro, know that you have that.
On the left field line, chased by Willingham. A foul ball catch. No catch, just a foul ball.
Yeah, that ball just kept slicing away from Willingham. That wind, I think, took it, and it just kept slicing into that corner. It's out of our view here, but Willingham went toward that line. And this is the look that we have.
Yep, just out of his reach.
I don't know if he would have been. That's not really fan interference because the fan wasn't really, over that wall there.
1-2 to DeJesus.
Ouch.
And hit him. So DeJesus will go to first. Nobody out now. Runners at first and second for Soriano. And a tough break for the Twins because they wanted to have the option of walking Soriano with first base open because he's had a very destructive series.
Yeah, he really has. 3 home runs in the ball game. He drove in the first run here today with the RBI double off of Liriano. 6 for 11 overall, and he's driven in 6 runs.
The Cubs leading 4-0, threatening to do more here with Soriano at the plate. Twins did intentionally walk him in the 6th, and he came around to score on Mather's double. Outside a ball. Nubbed, and Burton will fire to second. Safe there, and there'll be a bases loaded situation. Burton trying to throw on the run, and his throw pulled Dozier off the bat.
Yeah, would have been a tough play right there for Burton. You almost, as a pitcher, you want to get that out at first because where this ball is hit, right off the end of the bat, and Burton saw the spin on that ball, decides to go to second, and his throw high, and that pulls Dozier off the bag.
So they're loaded up, nobody out, and Jeff Baker the batter. Twins will bring the infield in now.
And Burton will be charged with an error on that play.
The Twins need a break here to keep this game within reach. Fly ball center field. Should be deep enough to score Johnson. In fact, Span has to go back out near the warning track, and his throw comes into second base. And a good decision by Span. He kept Soriano at first. A sacrifice fly makes it a 5-0 ball game.
Well, Baker hitting it deep enough to allow the runner at third, Castro, to score. Also, DeJesus at second to tag up and move to third. So Baker picking up his first RBI, his 7th of the year. And it's a 5-0 Cubs lead.
Mather, the batter. And Burton will hope to get a ground ball double play here and get out of this inning with 1 run allowed. Swing and a miss. Mather with an RBI double right after the very next pitch, after a wild pitch in the dirt skipped between the legs of Butera. That made it a 3-0 ball game. The double made it 4-0, and now the sacrifice fly making it 5-0.
Yeah, Burton a strikeout pitcher. He has 26 strikeouts in 23 innings pitched. So he'd like to get maybe a ground ball or a strikeout here. Swarzak getting loose.
2 strikes to Mather. Half swing. Did he go? And Mather's gone for out number 2.
So Burton able to get a big strikeout. That fastball up and in. Mather tried to hold up. Watch his momentum trying to get out of the way. Quick. Boy, very close, but he's called out on 3rd strike.
Darwin Barney, the hitter. Liner into center field. DeJesus will score. Span throwing all the way through to third. I got him. So Span guns a throw across. The final out recorded at third base, but the Cubs get 2 more in the 8th.
Back here if they're going to complete this sweep over the Chicago Cubs on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. We're going to talk about today's ballgame and include Francisco Liriano in his 1 bad inning. He had a very solid outing with the exception of the 6th inning when he allowed 3 runs. Gardy's postgame press conference coming your way as usual, and outfield play is the instructional tonight with Ron Coomer immediately after the final out kick.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Twins.
Ryan Dempster still out there starting his 8th inning. 7 shutout innings so far, 102 pitches thrown.
Span takes strike one and strike two.
Ten ground ball outs, 6 fly ball outs. They go with his 5 strikeouts.
Fouled over the Cubs dugout.
Hey, nice throw right here by Denard Span. Of course, Liriano, playing with those bad knees, but perfect throw, getting him out at third for the final out.
Dempster still on the mound. 2 strikes to Span. High, and it's 1-2. If the Cubs decide to go ahead and break this team up, spin off some veterans in trades, Alfonso Soriano and Ryan Dempster have certainly increased their stock value in this series. Soriano has swung the bat very well, and Dempster has taken a hot hitting lineup and absolutely shut it down here today. Up high, 2-2. Pitch number 107. Bounce to short. Easy play for Castro, who bobbles it again and still throws Span out. 1 away. What have your favorite Minnesota athletes been up to on social media? Brian Hall's top 10 tweets are always good for a weekend laugh. Check them out at foxsportsnorth.com. One gone in the 8th. I'm on Twitter. You're on Twitter. I don't know whether we would even qualify for Brian Hall's top 10.
That's okay. Yeah, Dempster making his 11th start this year. Coming in, we talked about, he went through a stretch of 18 starts without a victory. Even this year, you look at the 10 starts he had prior to this, 7 of his 10 starts have been quality starts.
2-0 now to Ben Revere.
And I guess, for a lot of the viewers, what's a quality start in today's game of baseball? You pitch 6 innings or more and you give up 3 earned runs or less. That's considered a quality start. So, yeah, he's pitched well here, but he's really pitched well all season long. He just has not had much to show for it.
See, I think we ought to have like a graduated scale. 6 innings, 3 earned runs. That's a quality start. 7 innings, 3 earned runs.
2 earned runs. That to me is a quality start.
Okay, but let's go up the ladder here, since you're always trying to get pitchers to pitch
trying to
longer.
be realistic as far as what a quality start is. It should be 7 innings and 2 earned runs or less.
Well, I was going to give that one like a good start.
A big star, like a Willie Stargell star.
Bouncer to second. Barney throws him out, 2 down.
So what was your next level going to be?
Well, we got a little business
to
take care of.
I want to hear it now.
We got a little business we have to take care of here.
Okay.
Coors Light, cold hard fact, the fact that the Cubs were just 2-13 against left-handed starters so far this year. But if a pitcher goes 7 innings and gives up 3 runs, then it's a good start. That's a good start.
That's better than quality?
A step up than quality, it's good. All right. And if they go 8 innings and they give up 3 earned runs or less, then that's a really good start.
What if he pitch a shutout?
Well, then that's a great start. And then you could categorize like Dempster here. It's quality start doesn't do this justice. He's done a really good job. He may pitch a shutout or 8 innings. There ought to be a higher standard or a higher definition for what he's done here today than just a quality start. Excellent would be a good one. 1-1
again, he's he and Hill are working very nicely together. Hill moves out, the ball's there. He's sitting outside now, and that ball's right there. Catchers always talk about when they catch somebody like a Dunsing of today. Watch Hill again, where he's setting up, and look at the location. Look at that. The ball is right there. They say they sit like in a rocking chair. It's just so nice. They just moved a little bit to the left, moved to the right. Now they're going inside. And that looked like a split finger gets Joe Mauer.
Tell you what, not many times will Mauer strike out 3 times in one game, much less against one pitcher. Here's the game reset with the Cubs hoping to get out of town and end their disappointing road trip with a win.
Yeah, you know, Ryan Dempster, back-to-back starts where he's thrown shutout baseball, 7 shutout innings against the Brewers in his last start. And here this afternoon, 8 shutout innings so far. Cubs took an early 1-0 lead and then opened it up a little bit with a 3-run 6th inning, added 2 more in the 8th, 1 earned run against Jarrett Burton. Anthony Swarzak will get the top of the 9th inning, making his 17th appearance.
He'll pitch to the Cubs here, starting with Ian Stewart in the 9th inning.
Yeah, Swarzak worked here on Friday night, 2 innings of shutout baseball, gave up 1 hit, threw 25 pitches, 15 for strikes.
Strike 1. And strike 2. Stewart 0 for 3, Hill 0 for 3. The guy has really been a pest has been Reed Johnson. He'll hit 3rd this inning. 1-2. Looks like the White Sox are going to lose. Philip Humber started for the White Sox, and the Astros are leading Chicago 11-4. Pirates are 1 out away from sweeping the Royals, 3-2 in the 9th inning. And Swarzak picks up a strikeout to start his 9th inning.
Good moving fastball down and away. Swarzak gets a punch out.
The next Crystal Farms Kids Day is 1 week from today, Father's Day, when the Twins host the Brewers. Get to the game early for Kids Day autographs and free string cheese, courtesy of Crystal Farms. And after the game, kids can run the bases on Target Field, presented by Gillette Children's Hospital. Tickets and more details available on Sunday's Crystal Farm Kids Day at twinsbaseball.com. Strike 1.
Good curveball there by Swarzak. Boy, he looks so much different coming out of the bullpen than when he starts. He just looks so much more relaxed. Twins have tried starting him a couple times since he's been called up to the Twins in 2009, and you look at his numbers, and as a reliever compared to a starter, it's not even close.
You know, the Twins went through that stage briefly, not as long as they have with Swarzak, with Matt Guerrero. Every once in a while he'd get a start in kind of an emergency situation, but then the Twins finally concluded that Guerrero was so much more valuable pitching out of the bullpen than he could ever, than the success he could ever enjoy as a starter.
Wow, look at that pitch. That's a good pitch right there. Wow. Yeah, Swarzak is a reliever. ERA at 3.34. That's a strike. As a starter, 5.74. I know Foxtrack says it's a.
It's on the mythical black
too. Here we go.
2-2. Now, you like my idea about the quality start thing?
I like your idea off the air about not a good quality start. Better.
Might have to use initials for those, but swing and a miss, and Swarzak picks up a couple of strikeouts here to start his ninth inning.
Wow, straight over the top. And you know what? Even though the Cubs put up 6 runs here this afternoon, I think the pitching staff has pitched very well. You know, even Liriano, who started this ball game, even though his numbers say 4 earned runs in 5 2/3 innings, I thought he pitched a lot better than those numbers.
Here's Reed Johnson. Singled and scored in the first, walked in the third, walked and scored in the sixth. His runs scored were the first 2 runs scored in the day, so he's kind of had an impact in the game, even though he's only 1 for 2. His one wasn't particularly well hit. In fact, it sounded like it broke his bat.
Well, what a leadoff hitter's goal is get on base and hopefully score, and Johnson's been doing that really in the 3-game series.
Pittsburgh beat Kansas City 3-2. Cleveland, St. Louis tied at 1 in the 7th, and it's again 11-4, bottom of the 8th in Chicago. Astros in front. Fastball on a strike. Swarzak going upstairs to get a swinging strike.
He just threw it as hard as he could at 93, and Johnson just swinging through it. Dunson struck him out to end the 7th inning on a high fastball.
So Willingham, Morneau, and Plouffe, they'll be the first 3 batters in the bottom of the 9th. And up high, full count.
He laid off that one.
We'll talk about going up the ladder, but at some point the ladder runs out over rungs, right?
Yeah, now it's 3-2. Now you want that pitch down.
That's down the right field line. It's a foul ball into the seats. Swarzak trying to put the Cubs away here in the 9th inning.
I like what he did right there. Just took a little extra time. Let Ben Revere, who hustled to the line, get back to his position, take a deep breath.
Bouncer right side. Great stop by Carroll. Throws. Safe at first. Carroll did everything he could. Johnson's a leadoff batter in part because of his speed, and he beat out an infield hit.
His 2nd hit of the ball game. And for Johnson, his 6th hit of the series. Great effort right there by Jamie Carroll, but Johnson does beat it out.
So Johnson aboard with a hit. He's now been on base 4 times in the ball game. And here's Starlin Castro. Hits his last 2 times up, a couple of runs scored.
Don't know when we'll play the Cubs again in interleague play, but this is a young man right here we've talked about in this 3-game series that has a very high bar, and you hope over the years, whenever we play him again, that he will continue that. It'd be good for the Cub organization to have a young kid like this become maybe their next superstar.
1-0. And we've mentioned they've got a young prospect in Des Moines for the Iowa Cubs now, Anthony Rizzo. They figure he's going to be their first baseman for the next 10 years. Brian LaHare might be moved out to left field. I mean, this is a team that, because they've got some good young players, they could rebuild rather quickly once they get out from underneath some of the big contracts like Soriano's.
Well, a lot of times what you'll see is clubs like Soriano's contract, maybe they'll have to pay some of that salary if they do try to move him. Quick trip to the mound by Drew Butera to Anthony Swarzak.
You mentioned you don't know when we'll play the Cubs again. One of the original schedules had us going to Wrigley Field this year for a weekend series when we were in reality this year in Milwaukee, spending an off day Monday in Chicago and then playing the White Sox for 3 games. We would have had a whole week in Chicago. Tap foul. That's kind of what the Rangers had. They had a series with the A's, then an off day, and then they played the Giants. I'm not sure which would be more expensive or more fun, a week in Chicago or a week in San Francisco.
I would take both. Those are pretty nice places. Now, you'd probably like to do that if we played the Yankees and the Mets.
Oh, that'd be fun. I'll be on the Brooklyn Bridge, ready to jump off.
Don't jump, Dick.
Dozier rather in the hole.
That should be an infield base hit right there. That would have been a tough play. Dozier's only play probably was to try to get Johnson at second base. Take a look at Liriano today. I mentioned earlier, that I thought he pitched a lot better than his numbers showed. 6 strikeouts in a ball game, 3 walks, 1 intentional. But all in all, I think Rick Anderson and I think Ron Gardner are going to be very happy at the way Liriano went about his business. 89 pitches, 54 for strikes, getting ahead of 18 of the 24 batters he faced. Good signs.
It's a lopsided score right now. The Twins still have an inning's worth of at-bats to change it. You look at how the Twins are losing right now and when they're getting beaten.
I think the big thing, Dick, is just winning series. It's hard to sweep a ball club. The Twins did it against the Oakland A's here, but they had a chance, I believe, against the Royals to sweep them, and it didn't work out.
Twins lost in Cleveland when Derek Lowe had that sinker biting, and they really didn't do anything against him. They lost in Kansas City when Bruce Chen pitched one of his better ball games.
Right.
And they've run into Dempster here, who's pitched much better than his one-loss record would indicate. So you do at times have to tip your cap to the other guy's pitcher, and
yeah, you do.
It just wasn't meant to be today. Now, all that said, the Twins have been a little sloppy in the field today and haven't gotten clutch hits as well as they have over the last 2 weeks. Ripped to right, that might reach the corner. It'll score at least one. Johnson scores. Castro to third. He'll be waved around. And Swarzak, who started the inning with a pair of strikeouts, gives up a couple of runs.
That's how quick the game can turn on you. My goodness, the first 2 guys he faced, he struck them out. Then the infield base hit by Reed that just squirts, between first and second. Castro an infield base hit. And then really the only ball hit hard off the bat at David DeJesus. He picks up a couple runs on his 12th double of the year.
Castro scored from first and then limped to the dugout. Might have been because of the slide. We'll see if we get any word of any injury or whether he comes out to take his position in the bottom of the ninth. Here's Alfonso Soriano. Soriano in his first games here at Target Field, he's enjoyed hitting here, and of course there is the strong possibility that Soriano will make a reappearance here. If the Cubs trade him, it would almost certainly, I would think, be to an American League team, someone in search of a designated hitter. To center,
And deep. Span over. Makes the catch on the track. And that ends the 9th inning. 2 more for the Cubs. They've opened the game up now to an 8-0 lead. Gave Dale Swaim a very high quality start today.
Yeah, very much so. 8 shutout innings, 117 pitches. That's a season high. But 80 of those 117 pitches were strikes. So here's a strike-throwing machine here. 6 strikeouts, 1 walk in a ball game, and Dempster looking for his 2nd win of the year.
Already our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Here's the bullpen numbers for the Cubs.
Well, not pretty. 8 2/3 innings so far in this series. They've allowed 17 hits, 8 earned runs. On the biggest thing that I think the frustrating part is the 7 walks. Too many walks.
Mentioned this the other night. James Russell, who enters the game now, the son of former reliever, pretty good closer in his day, Jeff Russell. The Russells are, here's a bonus trivia question for you now, as you ponder this now over the off day tomorrow. One of 4 father-son combos with saves. See if you can name any of them.
Father-son combos.
Father-son combos who've each gotten the saves.
It's a good trivia question there.
I don't think you'll get them.
No?
I'll give you until after the first out, then I'll give.
Do I have to go back? I mean, is it in our modern day era? Or?
Let's see. I have seen all 3 of the sons pitch in my broadcasting career.
Oh, okay. But not the fathers.
Not in person, no. Strike 1 after Willingham's at bat. I don't think anybody will get this.
James Russell did work here on Friday night, and he worked an inning and 2/3. He did give up a couple hits, a run, a walk, a strikeout through 30 pitches. 20 for strikes.
One and 1 to Willingham. And again, where Dempster really excelled was in the middle of this Twins lineup. Mauer, Willingham, and Morneau hitless. The only guy to reach was Willingham, and he took a pitch against his tricep. 3-0. Mauer 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Glad I got him in the pick to stick. Willingham 0 for 2. Morneau 0 for 3 with a strikeout.
I had Justin. Wow.
Wicked hop. And Willingham will reach. Now, that should be a base hit just based on that last hop. That really sprung up.
Yeah, Stewart playing back anyway, and this ball hit very sharply at him. And that ball came up on him. And they give Stewart an error. Wow. That's a tough error right there.
So it is an error that allows Willingham to reach. Morneau coming to the plate now.
Yeah, they always say infielders, get your face in front of it. That's one that, no, you don't want to. Didn't Denny Hawking in spring training? He got in front of a Jose Canseco line drive and
spent the next 4 hours in the dentist chair.
His face hasn't been the same since.
1-0 to Morneau. The other 3 sons who got
give me a hit.
The other 3 father-son combos with saves. You remember, we always mispronounced it, Jamie, but Jaime Navarro. He got a save. So did his father Julio. Got at least one.
Okay, I would have never guessed that.
We saw Jason Grilly pitch with the Tigers, and his father Steve also picked up some saves. The other one is the one I think I might have gotten if I'd have thought about it long enough. Pedro Bourbon Sr. and Jr.
Okay. Yeah, Sr. just passed away.
Last week, I believe, right? Morneau takes outside, and it's 2-2.
Had some great years with the Cincinnati Reds. Pedro Bourbon.
Two and 2 to Morneau. Twins hoping to take advantage of the error charged to Stewart. A little dribbler up the line.
Oh, that's going to be trouble. Beat it out. There you go.
Morneau gets an infield hit.
How many times do we write that down?
So the Twins trying to get something started here in the ninth. An error, now an infield hit. Here comes Plouffe.
Well, watch Justin right here. He can smell that base hit. Look at him hustle down that line. And really, that ball kind of hit. We're talking about in short center field being in no man's land. Sometimes you can, in the infield, hit a ball that's kind of in no man's land.
Plouffe bunted for a hit. Morneau with a swinging bunt for a hit. Whatever works. Twins got a long ways to go here in this bottom of the ninth inning.
Well, good quality at bats. That's what Gardy and Joe Vavra are still looking for. Give me good quality at bats, no matter what the scoreboard says.
Ball 1. Given the Cub history with their bullpen, unless or until there's an out, there's going to be a little anxiety in this situation, even though it's a 6-run lead. Excuse me, an 8-run lead. There's a strike, 1-1.
Yeah, it's not good when 4 guys are warming up. They're also using the Twins bullpen.
One and 1. Pulled foul, 1-2.
James Russell, 26 years old, in his 3rd season with the Cubs.
That's to left center, and that's going to die for a hit. Everybody will move up a base. So Plouffe didn't hit it hard, but now the Twins have their best scoring threat. Bases loaded, nobody out. Dozier to the plate.
And if I'm Ryan Dempster, I'm somewhere in that clubhouse and I'm like hiding somewhere. I don't want to hear it.
He might have his head in the toilet right now. Here's Brian Dozier.
It's one of those places,
dying quails.
Dying quails, yeah.
Thought I'd fill in the blank for you before he got us in trouble. Dozier 0 for 3, tried to bunt his last time up and was retired. Ball 1. Ryan Doman will hit for Drew Butera next. One of those situations where you hope the Twins can just keep the line moving. Two and 0. Dempster went maybe an extra inning than he might otherwise go. Went 8 strong innings, in part because the
Cub bullpen's been very ineffective this year, and now he hands it off to the bullpen in the ninth, and the Twins have put together a threat. Down the middle of strike.
That bullpen for the Cubs combined 7 and 15, an ERA at 4.41 combined. That's 15th in the National League. Only the Mets have a higher ERA out of their bullpen. They're at 5.46.
Sean Kemp, Dale Swaim said, might be the MVP of the team because he, at least up until Friday night, had done a nice job stabilizing that bullpen. 3-1 now to Dozier with Doman on deck.
He should get a fastball right here. Let's see if they can hit one in the gap somewhere.
Full count. Dozier taking all the way.
And as a pitcher with an 8-0 lead, you're going to almost go right back to that same spot or another fastball. Hill will sit pretty much down the heart of the plate. As he does.
Popped up a foul ball that should reach the seats. It's trying to pull off an unlikely rally here in the bottom of the ninth. Popped up, short left field. Castro after it. On the wind playing tricks with it. Castro makes the catch. Infield fly rule was never called because Castro was never in position under the pop-up. One away.
Doman got a pitch to hit, but popped it straight up, and Castro is going back and keeps watching this ball drift on him. He does make the catch. Excuse me, Dozier.
So Doman hitting for Butera. Doman, enough of a power hitter. We made a Stratomatic reference before. If you were a power hitter in Stratomatic and you got a 3-4, that was usually a home run. The Twins are hoping for a 3-4 here. And even at that, it would only cut the Cub lead in half.
Well, Doman has 6 home runs, 2 of them as a right-handed hitter.
And Hill to the mound. Baltimore beat the Phillies 5-4 in 10 innings.
Well, no club likes to get shut out either. Not saying that the Twins aren't able to come back from an 8-0 deficit, but you don't want to get shut out. Twins have been shut out 6 times already this year.
Lace to left, deep, but caught by Johnson. Tagging and scoring from third is Willingham. And Doman with a blistering line drive for out number 2.
And the Twins are not shut out. Doman picking up his 30th RBI of the year on the line drive sacrifice fly, as Willingham makes it an 8-1 ball game.
Russell threw him a breaking pitch right down the heart of the plate, and all it was missing was loft. So Carroll will hit 1 for 3. The Twins are down to their last out. Strike 1. Inside, and it's 1-1. Let's have an off day tomorrow. Then the Phillies probably will come to town tonight. I don't know what their travel situation is in and out of Baltimore, but they'll open up a series here Tuesday night. Foul back, 1-2.
Well, another good crowd here, 37,526. The announced crowd.
Pulled foul by the tarp. One and two. Russell already thrown 25 pitches. The run the Twins have scored, any subsequent runs will all be unearned runs because of the error charged to Stewart.
A tough error, as I mentioned.
That's dumped behind the first base bag, and a fair ball. Carroll runs to second. The game will continue. It's 8-2. An RBI double for Jamie Carroll.
His second hit of the ball game. Carroll picking up his 19th RBI as Justin scores.
So Span will hit with a chance to drive in a couple runs with a base hit.
Boy, he's got that down, doesn't he, Jamie Carroll? That little ball hit down that right field line.
I guess what you would call using the whole field, or at least that half of it. Swing and a miss on the breaking pitch.
By the, in his first at bat, Dempster threw him a ball away, and that's when he got the base hit over there. And then the next two at bats, they just worked him hard in.
Yeah.
And that ball left out over the plate, and Carroll just at his best, just hit it down that right field line. You can see 12 to left, 15 to center, and 22 of his hits to right field. That's almost half by my California math.
That have gone to right field. One strike to Span. 1-1. There are now 3 hits for the Twins. On the outside corner. One and two. Punch behind third, and that'll spin back into foul territory. Span trying to prolong the inning. Twins need Span, Revere, and Mauer to reach to get Willingham up as the tying run. I suspect if that happens, if Willingham gets up this inning, Russell will be in the stall next to Dumpster. 1-2. Be the 32nd pitch for Russell here in the 9th inning. Two and two.
Good take right there by Span. And as I mentioned earlier at the top of this inning, no matter what the scoreboard says, you keep having good quality at bats. Ben Revere on deck. He'd like to get another at bat.
Base hit down the line. Foul by a foot. Span lined it, and it sliced foul by about a foot.
Well, remember I said earlier in the ballgame, Dick, Jamie Carroll uses that right field line.
Right.
Span does such a good job of letting that ball get deep into the strike zone, and a lot of his hits are the other way. Right at the last second, popping that ball down that left field line, it just sliced foul.
So a protracted at bat here for Denard Span. He is the 7th batter Russell's had to face. And he nearly drove in a couple of runs with a hit down the left field line. And Russell will try again with a 2-2 pitch. Down and away. That couldn't have missed by much. Full count.
Boy, what a take by Span. We've seen this pitch being called throughout the ball game. Take a look. Slider. A bit outside.
Everybody up on the top step, where a lot of guys are, seeing what will happen in this long battle between Span and Russell. Fly ball, center field. Retreating is Mather. And he makes the catch over his shoulder. And the Cubs get out of town with an 8-2 win. And the 5-game home winning streak for the Twins comes to a close. No home runs were hit in this game. The home run challenge continues through Father's Day. And you can make your pledge by calling 800-798-CURE or go online to www.pcf.org. Kevin Gork, guess the Twins will take this, a series win. Nothing wrong with that, but they miss in their attempt to sweep the Cubs here this afternoon.
No, still got momentum into the Philadelphia series. We'll break it all down. We'll take a look at Ryan Dempster, who was delivering the stuff today. We'll hear from Ron Gardner. Our instructor will teach you how to play in the outfield. We'll preview that series with Philadelphia next on Twins Live.